Are we ready? Guess we're ready. I'm sorry. Yeah. Good morning. Welcome. Th- Today is Tuesday, March 1, 2022. The time is few minutes after 9. The Insurance Committee of the Tennessee House of Representatives is now called to order. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Representatives Carr, Sapicki, Freeman, Hawk, Hicks, Hodges, Johnson, Lafferty, Mitchell, Powers, Rudd, Smith, Terry, Thompson, White, Vice Chair Lady Rudder, Chairman Kumar.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Members, we have a short calendar, but before that, do we have any personal orders? Seeing none, all is at peace. We will go on to the first item and the only item on our agenda, House Bill 0685 by Leader Beck. We have a motion and a second. Leader Beck, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Committee, this is a notification bill as a result of our gig economy. As you know, nowadays, everybody wants things delivered. They don't want to go out for their pizzas or other items. And where we're getting into trouble for young people and people going back into the workforce to try to make extra money delivering is that on your personal insurance, people think they have insurance, but they don't necessarily, because on your personal insurance, there's an exclusion for any type of commercial activity that you're doing in your car. So what we're ending up with is people thinking they have insurance. They're delivering a pizza for the local pizza place. They get involved in an accident. They call their insurance. Insurance says, well, were you doing anything commercial at the time of the accident? And they're yet being honest. Yes, I was delivering a pizza for Sam's Pizza Place. And they go, well, that's a commercial activity and not covered under your policy. Click. And they're stuck being sued for the damages that they may have caused, or they're stuck with not getting their car repaired, their vehicle repaired. It's a bad situation. And so what we're asking is that if a lot of companies do provide insurance, Uber, Lyft provides insurance. A lot of the national companies provide insurance when you're working for them. If you don't provide insurance for coverage for commercial activities, all we're asking is that you notify the driver that you hired and say, Mr. Driver, you need to contact your insurance to make sure that you're covered. Because what they can do then is pay a little extra on their, since they are on a commercial policy, in a commercial activity, they can pay a little extra and get covered for commercial activities. And that's all my bill does, is it's a notification bill. Thank you. I'm standing to take questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. I think, thank you for bringing this. I think it's an important point because people can get caught unawares. One question comes to mind is Sam's Pizza not liable because this person was driving for them? You recognize?
Mr. Chairman, typically they're not, because they're an independent contractor.
I see. Okay.
If they are an employee, a W-2 employee, yes, then they could be held liable.
Chairman Powers, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're exactly right. Representative Beck, you're exactly right. I've actually run into that before with, and I'm in the insurance business and have run into that before, and you couldn't be more right, and I appreciate you bringing this bill. forward because they do not have any liability protection. They do not have any type of protection if they're driving commercially, if they're an independent contractor, like you said, and most of them are. The only question I had on it is, how's the notification part? Is it going to be a written notification and have them to sign it and acknowledge that they got that, or how are they going to be notifying the person?
You recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Powers. It's not in the bill that it has to be written. I would advise if Sam's Pizza was my client, I would advise them to have them sign that they were told. But that's the only requirement is that they are informed.
Chairman Park?
That's one thing that I would recommend even on this bill, if you could do an amendment to do that, because a lot of times you're going to get into it, as you know, being a lawyer, you could get into he said, she said, yeah, I told them that when we hired them, and then they said, well, they didn't tell them that, and then you could end up, with denying a claim or whatever just because of that. But if they had written notification and then they signed where they said, yeah, we don't, you need to contact your insurance company. I just think that might be something that you might want to add to the bill. I don't know if it's too late to do that, but that's what I would recommend. But I think it's a good bill, and thank you for bringing it.
Leader Beck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I think that's an excellent idea. I will see if I can do that before it goes, or
okay.
amend it before it goes on the
Okay.
House floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I would like to add that that's really a very valid point, because I was wondering sitting here that, okay, it's the right thing to do. We are going to pass this bill. We've done our part. How will the public know that this has been done? How will the drivers or the merchants be aware they need to let their driver know this? So I think adding something to it along the lines, whatever the logistic way of it is, whether you add it before the bill moves to calendar and rules or wherever, I think it's a good idea. I think I would seriously recommend that. Chairman speaking.
Mr. Chairman, to expedite this, would that be a clerical, or we could just add that right now in committee and move it forward? That would not be clerical. Why not?
The feeling from legal is that it is a substantive change.
So if
Yeah,
could I ask a
yeah.
question of legal, Mr. Chairman? Can I ask a question of legal then?
Sure. We'll go out of session.
Where it says in the bill, must inform drivers, could we not just add must inform drivers by written notice, and that's it?
You recognize?
Jamie Shanks, Office of Legal Services. That would still be considered a substantive change because you're changing what that requirement is. So that's why it would be substantive versus a technical correction would be a misspelled word or a wrong citation or something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We are back in session, Leader Beck.
Yes, why don't I roll this for a week, put that on, have it in the proper form?
We will consider that. Chairman Smith?
Can I make a 5-minute recess so that we can work on the untimely file amendment and take this up immediately?
Out of session, let's get a legal opinion if that's legit.
I was just clarifying, it would be a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but we are at the will of the committee, whatever you need us to do.
We have 10. We have 2 minutes. Okay. We are, yes, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm at the will of the committee too, but I would like to recommend that Representative Beck contact Sam and see if he's okay with it from Sam's Pizza.
Mr. Speaker, you appear to be familiar with that place. Now, just to clarify and get us back in proper order, are we in session at this time? Yes, we are. Yes, Chairman Rudd?
Just for clarification, there actually is a Sam's Brick Oven Pizza in Murfreesboro.
Okay, with that. So we will take Chairman Hawk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we could, if we're going to go into a recess, I suggest that we try to consider any more additions to this amendment. Is that all that we're looking at, is the written notification, or is there anything else that Chairman Powers or anyone else on the committee sees may be needed on this legislation?
Members, the
if we're going to
door is open for amendments. Yes, Chairman Powers?
No, that was the only thing I was thinking about. And I was just thinking, I don't know if we can do a verbal amendment and do it pretty quick, or, the sponsors even said he would put an amendment on it, just roll it one week and come back next week. So either way is fine with me, yeah.
The feeling seems to be that this can be handled with a brief recess, right? Okay. Sure. Right. Yes, Leader Beck?
Mr. Chairman, Chairman Powers made a great point in that it should not only be in writing, but it should be acknowledged by a signature by the driver.
Both parties, yeah.
I think that was an excellent idea, and since we are making
Do you
the
still-
change as to being in writing, but also acknowledged. So that way it's in the file. There's no question that they were notified to contact their insurance agent.
All right. Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I support this bill, and I certainly support where it's going. I don't think we're going anywhere in the next probably month anyways. I think there's still enough of confusion that we roll it a week, get it right, come back.
Yeah.
And maybe take another crack at it next week. That would be mine. I'm for it. Let's get it right.
Is that your motion?
If that's proper, yes, that would be.
We have a motion and a second to roll it next week to get things right, to quote our famous chairman. Any discussion? Without objection, we are voting on the rolling motion. I think roll is just ruling of the chair, right? So ordered.
Thank
And
you,
we
Mr.
will-
Chairman and committee, and
We'll
we'll
come back.
have
next
it
week.
right next week. Thank
Very
you.
good. Members, any other business? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you for everybody's help.